direct attack on the constitutional rights of people of color.
Now on WTOL 11 Plus, a fight for the future of the country.
The political battle for representation in Congress and the response to the redrawing in the Lone Star State.
It just kind of came out of nowhere. It just hit my passenger side mirror, and then I saw it after going through the intersection.
And caught on camera, a runaway piece of construction equipment plows through traffic. The one thing that stopped it just in time.
And a win in court for President Trump. The decision on fraud and the variation on the verdict that stood to cost more than $515 million.
Welcome into WTOL 11 Plus now, Toledo's only local live, full 30-minute exclusively streaming newscast only on WTOL 11 Plus. I'm Kaylee Marentet.
I'm Dan Cummins. We start tonight with the fallout from a deadly shooting.
Well, Dan, it happened over the 4th of July holiday weekend at the Agenda Sports Bar and Grill. And weeks later, a Lucas County judge shut it down for a full year. Now the owner, he's being punished for crimes he says he didn't commit. He's taking his fight to City Council, and Michael Sandlin has the story.
July 6th, 1 a.m. After a series of gunshots, 31-year-old Christopher Bourne died in the street outside the Agenda Bar. 37-year-old Stefan Garrett died shortly after at the hospital. 2 others are hospitalized. Over the last 4 years, Toledo police say they have documented 24 separate reports of crimes here, and this shooting was the last straw for the city of Toledo's leadership. So they filed a restraining order against the 2 LLCs that own the bar and Sean Love, the building's owner. That temporary restraining order was soon upgraded to a full shutdown. Now, the doors will remain locked until August of next year.
We just got a ruling last week. It was kind of, to me, it's kind of a shock.
That's Sean Love, Agenda Bar's owner, trying to appeal the decision in front of City Council. He argues he's done everything he can to keep the bar safe, adding security cameras, worked with police, and yet he's shut down. But other businesses with even higher rates of crime, like a Walgreens with 149 criminal incidents, are allowed to stay open.
On the news, they said that basically the police is willing to help them. But they got 149 in 1 year. We got 15 in 4 years. But we get the different treatment. We got other bars, McDonald's had a shooting, a death in there. Nothing happened. We got gas stations. I mean, it's just like every business is not fair.
That comment seemed to strike a chord with some of the city council members.
Mr. Love, I heard your words very, very clearly. If this is true of a Walgreens and this is true of a McDonald's, so I think that's an interesting conversation to have, and we should have it.
I will meet with you.
WTOL 11 caught up with Love after the meeting, and we asked him his take on how businesses with high crime rates should be treated. Love says instead of shutting down the bar altogether, TPD should work closer with the owners.
Every bar should have an opportunity to have deputies or TPD or some type of security outside. I mean, most problems happen outside into a bar or a tavern. We should have a conversation about it.
Michael Sandlin is joining us in studio tonight. Michael, you mentioned in your story other crimes have taken place there. What's the most recent example?
Yeah, so there was a shooting back in March where we actually saw a guy open fire in the middle of a birthday party inside the bar. That guy was shot multiple times, and he actually was taken to the hospital, and that man was arrested for a felonious assault. So definitely not the first time we've seen a shooting inside or around the Agenda Bar.
There was also that one that happened over the July 4th holiday weekend.
Yes, of course. I mean, that's the main one we're referring to, but you know, we've mentioned that there's other crimes there that also include shootings.
So all of this attention has been put on Agenda Sports Bar in particular for TPD. What is this list that we're talking about, this CERT list?
Yeah, so there's this list called the CERT list. This is something that TPD references. They're the troublemaker businesses that they kind of keep an eye on. Right now, there's 7 businesses on that list. One of them now includes Agenda Bar as of July 10th. And we just got that update today, actually. What we're trying to figure out is what exactly it means to be on the CERT list. As of right now, we understand these are businesses that TPD are highlighting, but Why these and not others? That's been a big question we've been asking. I actually reached out to TPD's Lieutenant Paul Davis asking that very question, and I said, how do they determine what should be on the CERT list, what shouldn't? He said, well, there's a CERT team, which is a mix of state and local actors who make this decision of what should be on the list. But when I asked him why specifically they put those on there, he couldn't give me an answer. He said he's going to have to reference me over to their legal team to get more details on that.
It sounds like this is we are just sort of scratching the surface with this CERT list. Do you think there's a lot more to be dug into here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think why certain businesses are on there and why certain businesses aren't is the question that Mr. Love is asking. It's a question City Council's asking, and now it's a question we want to answer as well. So I think that's something we're going to dive into the coming weeks, into the coming months, and hopefully we can bring you and our viewers at home some answers.
All right, Michael Sandlin joining us in studio tonight. Thank you. Dan?
We are tracking the stories making headlines around the world and across the country right now. New data shows where illegal immigration stands according to the numbers available. A court decides on a controversial case involving President Donald Trump, what the new penalty means tonight. Plus the video you've got to see. A mother stopped in traffic, hit by a runaway construction vehicle, but she has a positive message after all of that. First, we start with an update to breaking news. Villanova University's president now calling reports of a shooter on campus a cruel hoax. The school says there was no active shooter, no injuries, no evidence of firearms. Police responded to reports of an active shooter late this afternoon, prompting a campus lockdown. Students received alerts to lock and barricade their doors, but again, the school says it was all a hoax. California moving quickly to counter Texas after Republicans there approved new congressional maps designed to boost GOP power. Texas' plan, pushed by President Trump, adds 5 new Republican-leading districts. In response, California's Democratic legislature is set to advance its own mid-decade redraw, adding 5 seats favorable to Democrats. Unlike Texas, California's new districts must first be approved by voters before they can take effect. A new report shows illegal immigration in the U.S. reached a record high of 14 million people in 2023. The Pew Research Center says that's up from nearly 12 million year before. That surpasses a previous high set in 2007. Researchers note about 6 million of those included were in the country under temporary legal protections.
The Democrats, look, they really overplayed their hand on this because they thought they could take Donald Trump out. They didn't. And in the process, they totally destroyed American people's faith in our Justice Department. And they got him got President Trump a lot of votes because of that.
An appeals court has thrown out the massive civil fraud penalty against President Trump. Decision does uphold other punishments, including a temporary ban on him and his eldest sons serving in corporate leadership. The ruling reduces what had been a more than $500 million hit to Trump's real estate empire. The president has denied wrongdoing, calling the case political.
I'm really thankful. I'm thankful my kids weren't with me. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it just could have been a lot worse.
That's Deanna Simons after this happened while she was sitting in traffic in Massachusetts. Wow, a 60,000-pound front-end loader barreling down a hill after losing its brakes and steering at a nearby job site. The massive machine clipped only that one SUV before slamming into a utility pole. Police say a power failure caused the runaway, and Simons was not seriously hurt.
My grandmother always said, he will come home.
Well, now he is. The hero's homecoming and how modern technology helped solve a decades-old mystery.
Derek, put my dog back.
I am not arguing with you right now while you're at the bar.
Oh, you've probably seen their videos on social media, but did you know they call Southeast Michigan home and they're trending? Chris?
I love to see that. Milder feeling weather out there for Friday. Highs back into the 80s. Let you know how long it's going to last before another cool down coming up next.
We hope you're enjoying spending time with us here on Toledo's only live, local, exclusively streaming newscast. And if you're here with us on WTOL 11 Plus, you probably know WTOL 11 is all over social media. And on TikTok today, we have a story that features a pair you might already know. The father and son are from Lambertville. Sophia Pericone shows us their videos online are really racking up some views.
You've probably scrolled past him without even realizing it.
Derek, put my dog back.
I am not arguing with you right now while you're at the bar.
Meet Derek Lip, a dad from Lambertville, Michigan, who's pulling in more than 600 million views a month with his son. Derek and his son Dawson have gone viral for their hilarious Ring doorbell skits.
I'm really sorry. I was going to ding dong ditch you guys.
That video has been viewed more than 123 million times on TikTok alone. The videos are scripted, but often inspired by real life, and fans love it. Derek first blew up back in the Vine days. When that shut down, he went back to construction and other jobs. During the pandemic, he decided to give content one more shot, and now it's his full-time job. With nearly 9 million TikTok followers and even more views, Derek says the best part isn't the fame, it's hearing from viewers who say his videos brighten their toughest days. And as for his son, Dawson, he says he's having fun, and Derek says this job is paying for his son's college.
Well, you can check out the full story from our Michael Sandlin right now on WTOL.com. And check it out, there's even some fun to be had with a sketch right here in our studio. Well, after nearly 50 years, Cracker Barrel is giving its classic logo a makeover. Since 1977, the country-themed chain's trademark featured a man leaning against a barrel. But this week, the brand unveiled a different look, keeping the name and the colors, but updating the font and dropping the rest. A heads up, the night sky is about to get darker than usual, and our WTOL 11 weather team has you covered. Here's meteorologist Kaylee Bowers from WTOL 11 TikTok.
Something rare is happening this weekend. A rare black moon is rising. On August 23rd, the moon will pass through a new moon phase. Our natural satellite will be positioned in the constellation Leo. Now, a black moon isn't an official name, but it's used to describe unusual timings of the new moon phases.
Very interesting. I feel like we usually say the sky is going to be brighter because of the moon, but this seems to be quite opposite.
When we enter into the new moon phase, you really get more vibrant stars because you don't have that artificial or that natural light from the moon kind of illuminating the skies. This stuff filling up people's TikTok feed. Dan, how about yours?
Is he
crickets?
My name's Dan, but is he talking to me?
If it makes you feel better, Dan, I don't have a TikTok either. But
Don't you?
I don't.
Thank you. I'm not the only one.
No.
You're not the only one.
I just can't do it.
But as you saw in some of those videos, millions of people are cashing in on some of those.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that works either.
It's fascinating.
We'll teach you in a commercial
break. We'll keep you updated.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah. Why is it so cold, Chris?
All right, cold is a relative term, right? You're right. August here.
Why is it not a hot
like
summer?
All right, a little milder weather. Can we order that up for you tomorrow?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Let's head on over to the big weather maps here. That's what we're expecting for Friday. Milder conditions. Highs are going to return back into the 80s. And if you've been one of those areas now, day number 2 of cloud cover, we'll peel back those clouds for some brighter skies and sunshine and a pleasant feel. All right, let's take one quick break from our local weather. I got to update you on Hurricane Aaron, Category 2 hurricane. This one continues to zip even farther off the eastern seaboard. Wind still 100 miles per hour. And again, this never made landfall in the United States. Came about 200 miles away from the Outer Banks, but still reported some significant surf and swells and overwash that has done some damage, especially into the Outer Banks. So here's where Aaron is right now, 100 mile per hour winds, but it's rapidly moving to the northeast at 20 miles per hour. And in the next 12 to 24 hours, it is going to be long gone and out of the picture. I do want to show you some of the images of what's been happening down there in the Carolinas. This is Highway 12, NC 12 down there, and the latest images show some of those sand dunes that they built up were kind of overcome by the higher surf. They are actually hitting high tide as we speak right now. So once we get past high tide, the waters should recede, and officials do report, even though it is flooded in this particular view, there's no structural damage that they believe from the road, so they're going to be able to kind of clear that sand off. And I think probably by the end of the weekend, things will be back close to normal across the Carolinas. So here's the track on this one, moving well off to the north and to the east. Not anything that we are going to need to worry about as we go through the next couple of days. Back here at home, upper 60s and lower 70s. We've got a cooler feel, but dry conditions. Even with the cloud cover we've had across the area, we expect we are going to stay dry. Now, there's some clearing that's going to be taking place tonight. So as we clear out, we're going to drop back into the lower 60s, dry and brighter weather on Friday. And let me tell you now, it is going to be an outstanding day Friday. Back into the lower 80s, lots of sunshine and really gorgeous feeling conditions. We'll start the day lower 60s, and look at that sunshine that's going to take us through the morning and into the early afternoon. We'll edge into the lower 80s. That's the expected highs into the afternoon. Weekend forecast, we are going to have a front that comes through. That's later Saturday, low 80s Saturday, 70s return on Sunday, mild and a little breezy. And then from the mid to upper 70s Sunday, here's that fall feel that's going to return. 73 on Monday. Chance we get a few showers on Monday. A couple sprinkles lingering into Tuesday. 74. Overnight lows, they could dip back into the upper 40s, low 50s for a few days early next week. Then we'll be back into the lower 80s for a great look as we get ready to roll right through the end of August. That's your 10-day forecast. Kaylee, back over to you.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, more than 80 years after the attack on Pearl Harbor, a sailor is finally coming home.
Petty Officer 3rd Class Robert Stillman Garcia was just 23 years old when he died aboard the USS California in 1941. It was sunk. His remains went unidentified until recently thanks to modern DNA testing.
Bill Churchwell from our sister station in Texas has the story.
It's my grandmother, his mother.
Nikki Valdez never got to meet her uncle, Robert Stillman Garcia.
Yeah.
The sailor was 23 when he was killed aboard the USS California, one of the ships struck during the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. For more than 80 years, his remains went unidentified.
My grandmother always said he will come home.
It was here inside Bonilla Plaza where Valdez was among those who gathered for a moment they never thought would come.
Laboratory analysis, it was determined that the skeletal remains share a DNA, both a mitochondrial and a Y profile, with storekeeper 3rd Class Garcia's maternal and paternal relatives.
A confirmation made through modern DNA testing.
It's very special to us. Truly a miracle, amazing. My sister and I used to swim. They'd send us, the Navy would send us their kids.
The attack decimated the fleet and thrust.
Richard Jenkins with the U.S. Navy MIA POW office delivering those results.
It's just such a great honor to be able to provide that to the family after so many years of waiting, and with many of them, they've lost that hope.
I always thought that he had stayed underneath there, somewhere in the ocean.
For relatives like Tony Bonilla III, a veteran himself, the moment is deeply personal.
I mean, all of us were just, in shock. Like, I'm shaking right now because, it's just, it's very heartfelt, to be able to bring him home and give him the proper burial that he deserves.
Robert's remains will be flown from Hawaii to South Texas, where he will be buried and receive full military honors. A homecoming 8 decades in the making, and a promise to never forget.
Garcia will be buried in Corpus Christi this October.
His family says he was eligible for Arlington, but they wanted him home in South Texas.
I would say that prices could go up today or tomorrow in Toledo.
There you have it. Gas prices headed back up, just rolling toward Labor Day. What's behind the sudden spike? And it's not just the holiday.
Plus, she faked cancer to take donations. Now a Toledo woman is back in front of a judge. The hot cocoa fundraiser that led her to her latest conviction.
And the TSA is looking to celebrate 2 of its top dogs, but the real question is green beans or hot dogs? Which side are you on? WTOL 11 Plus now continues in just 2 minutes. We're grateful you're here with us for WTOL 11 Plus Now, Toledo's only exclusively streaming 30-minute live and local newscast.
We're breaking down your top stories tonight, starting with a Toledo woman already convicted of faking cancer to scam donations. Lisa Tickmeyer faced a judge today. She and her child hosted hot cocoa stands in 2021, raising money for the family of fallen officer Brandon Stalker, who had died just a few days prior. Investigators say she didn't turn all of that money over to his family. She pleaded guilty to theft in court today. A judge suspended jail time and put her on probation. She's already serving 3 years probation after her jail sentence for the cancer scam.
Neighbors in West Toledo say an abandoned home on Loxley Road is now more like a shelter for dogs and cats. They told WTOL 11 they've called police and the Humane Society multiple times, but say they're not getting help. The home's listed owner died earlier this year, and police reports show a relative now claims ownership. Through a window, officers confirmed dogs inside looked healthy, but neighbors remain worried since the house has no electricity.
I started to notice people like hanging out on the front porch late at night and hearing animals in the house.
The Humane Society says there's no evidence of neglect and the dogs appeared cared for, but neighbors say they just want to make sure the animals inside are safe.
We're learning new details about the man who led police on a chase from Bowling Green to Maumee. Jeffrey Hunt faced a judge today in Bowling Green Municipal Court. He's charged with failure to comply, theft, and aggravated vehicular assault. A judge set his bond at $10,000. Police dash cam shows cruisers following Hunt after he allegedly stole AirPods from landscapers. The chase ended in Maumee when Hunt's car hit another car yesterday morning on Conan Street, causing his car to catch fire before officers made an arrest. I'll take a look at what authorities found during a drug bust in Findlay. Federal investigators were able to track down 500 grams each of cocaine and ketamine, more than 140 grams of psychedelic mushrooms, MDMA, 129 tabs of suspected acid, and other items linked to trafficking. Police say the raids happened on Shingle Street and Western Avenue, but they aren't releasing names or addresses yet because the investigation is still active.
Prices may stick with us for a little bit of time just ahead of Labor Day.
That's Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy. He's warning drivers could soon see higher prices at the pump. In fact, we're talking maybe $3.29 a gallon next couple of days. The jump comes after severe weather knocked a BP refinery in Indiana offline earlier this week. It produces about 10% of the gasoline for the Midwest. Experts warn it could take days, even weeks, before prices begin to drop again. Right now, volunteers are getting ready for one of the biggest cultural celebrations in Northwest Ohio, the German American Festival. Volunteers at Oakshade Grove peeled 2,000 pounds of potatoes. Yeah, you heard that right, 2,000 pounds. They then mixed in 200 pounds of bacon to make the festival's famous potato salad. The festival kicks off tomorrow night at 6 and runs through Sunday.
Sounds pretty good, right? I don't think I'm going to be able to make it, though. Are you?
I probably won't either. I got plans this weekend, too.
Well, thanks for being with us here on WTOL 11 Plus Now. We're glad you're watching Toledo's only local, live, exclusively streaming newscast.
Have you checked out the other great programming on WTOL 11 Plus? Our sports team breaks down the best fans in college football on this week's leaderboard.
With college football season already here and the NFL just around the corner, we're taking a look at local fandom. We asked you, which is the most loyal fan base year after year? Your options were the Detroit Lions, the Cleveland Browns, the Ohio State, or the University of Michigan. More than 200 of you voted on this poll, our most votes on any poll yet. The winner with almost 40% of the votes is the Buckeyes. Next, with just about 30% of the votes, was the Browns. In third was the Wolverines, and in last place was the Detroit Lions. Tyler, what do you think of that?
Well, I know discussing this before. Yes, we were discussing this these results before we came on set, and I think the term loyal is kind of the confusing / misconceiving part about this thing.
Let's get back to basics. The definition of loyal is support for a fandom and allegiance of some kind through thick and thin. The Browns fan base is one of the most loyal people ever. 3-win season last year. It's easy to root for Ohio State and Buckeye fans. I'm not knocking you, but when your team's winning national championships every decade, of course it's easy to hop on and root for them. But when it comes to loyalty, you support that team through thick and thin. My answer all the way, Cleveland Browns.
Absolutely. And it's kind of a little, I mean, I thought the Browns would obviously win. Obviously they were second, so they were close in this. But look at the NFL teams. Clearly it's more college than NFL, right, which honestly I'm not obviously against, because obviously I think there's a lot more passion when it comes to college football than the NFL. But yeah, I'm with you. I definitely thought the Browns would have taken this.
Well, and I see your point too, because a lot of people, not many people play in the NFL, but a lot of people could attend a college, you know what I mean? So there's the bigger fan base there of that support. So I get that. But when it comes to the word loyalty, through thick and thin, Browns fans, I see you.
Yeah, well, and Lions fans could fall in that category too, because not until recently they were pretty bad as well. So all those fans need to be loyal as well. And again, we're not taking shots. We're both Californians, so we have no egg in these baskets.
Fight,
yes, we were just simply a little shocked by the results. But appreciate you guys obviously for tuning in. And of course, we got another one, because next week in our next episode we have a new challenge, actually a new poll rather. And that is, what is your favorite part about Friday Night Lights? Of course, we're about to get underway with that ourselves with Big Board Friday. Here are your options. Is it the football, the food, the student section, or the band? We want to hear from you.
To vote, simply scan the QR code on your screen right now or head to WTOL11.com and head to the sports section.
Lots to think about there. Check out the full episode of WTOL 11 Sports Leaderboard. It's next on WTOL 11 Plus in about 4 minutes.
Well, from football to a matchup of a different kind. Check this out. The TSA, yeah, the one from the airports, they're hosting a battle to find the top dog. Literally, it's down to 2 Labrador retrievers. Alex keeps travelers safe at Denver International and snacks on green beans. Steeler is out of Pittsburgh and has a little less healthy favorite treat, jumbo hot dogs from 7-Eleven. You can vote on the TSA's website. Dan and Chris, what are we thinking here?
Well, as a Browns fan, I will not be voting for the Steeler dog.
We can rule one out. So what does that leave us, right?
Yeah, Alex, I guess you're the green bean snacker. You win it. I do have to respect the jumbo hot dogs from 7-Eleven, though.
How do the Browns not have a contender in that, right? They're the dogs, man.
They really are.
They are.
Does Bill Jack still exist, the dog bones that they go with the dog pound years ago?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It went the way of a lot of things.
It may. That tradition is past, though. We are looking forward to football season, though.
Yes.
We've got football weather out there.
Not so much.
It's coolish.
Okay.
Feeling more like fall.
All right. Tomorrow rebounds a little bit back toward 82 degrees. It'll be a beautiful day, gorgeous for Friday night football games. Cold front that comes into the area. It's going to be late Saturday, likely to be dry, but early next week tumbles us back into the 70s.
Well, thanks for spending part of your day here with us on WTOL 11 Plus. Remember, this is your home for more than just news. We'll see you back here tomorrow.